Madness. It's sort of like an H.P. Lovecraft thing. It's like H.P. Lovecraft comes to Hogwarts, is what it is. So we're all in college, we're learning magic, and we're not learning the power fast enough. Like we want, or one of us, I'm not sure which one of us, it wasn't me. Um, one of us wanted to learn magic a little faster, and we heard about the Book of Madness and decided to open it, and all these monsters popped out. So now we have to use what magic we do know to try to seal them back in the book. So these cards right here that we can't see, that's the grimoire. That's the grimoire that's going to open, and monsters are going to pop out, and we have to beat them. So to start, let's see who gets the first player cookie. Oh, that's cute. It's got like the logo on the other side. I love the artwork of the game. Like I'm not familiar with this artist, but I'm pretty sure that they've done other games. But it's like cartoony but cool at the same time, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's just really neat. So roll off and see who gets the first player. Ooh, 7. Yeah, it's not gonna be me. Wow.
15.
All right, so you get to have the first player. It's not really the first player cookie because it's gonna move at the end of everybody's turn so that we know whose current turn it is. And then we all start out with one of each of these basic spells, and we're gonna actually pick characters and stuff first. But I want to explain the rules before we pick our characters. Some growth for you. Oh, I already have one. Combustion. So there's 4 elements you may have noticed. We've got fire, earth, water, and wind. So it's basically Captain Planet the game. Although instead of saving,
you forgot heart.
Oh yeah, that's right. We all have heart, don't we? We're trying to save the world. After we're the ones who we broke it, we bought it, I guess. Is sort of how this works. These are going to be our starting elements. The neat thing about this game is it's a deck builder, like with mini cards. And so we're going to start with 12 cards. And this is the magic that we have. It's not a spell, it's like elemental power. And we're going to end up with 12 of these, and that's going to be our starting deck. And if you notice, we've got quite a few more that we're going to be able to build from. We're also going to be able to learn new spells. Each element has 3 levels of spell. We get to see the first level. There are only 3 levels of each spell. So once they're gone, they're gone. So there's a limited number of spells that we can get. But it's a cooperative game, so we're going to be helping each other out. So we'll decide who needs the spells and whatnot. In the far corner, we're going to let Ryan be in charge of that, is the Madness deck. We'll be earning those as well. There'll be many ways to earn them. And then on the back of the character cards, there's a lot of characters, so I'm going to explain the rules before we actually pick which character we're going to start with. But I want to give you one of these so you can kind of follow along as I explain what these boards do. But on the back, the game actually has the turn order and what can happen. So if you end up not keeping those specific magicians, I'll give you one of these so that you can have this flipped over and keep track of what happens in each turn.
Okay.
So if you notice on your card, on your magician card, you've got your mage, and then you've got these right here, and then this, and then these little shaded areas. There's one character that actually has 4 shaded areas, but most have 3. And what that is called the support area. There are ways to play those cards. I'm going to explain that in the rules, but I'll show you how it looks when you have all 3 support cards filled. It should look something like that. And that way everybody gets to see what you have available. Support cards are used by anyone. So, if I have these out and you need water, you can spend them. You can use them. Madness can also wind up out here, which is not a good thing. But it will likely happen. Really, Toby? Already? No, don't go on the table, honey. No. So, thanks for that, Toby. One day he will stay off the table. Today is not that day, but one day we won't have a cat butt. No.
He's like, this looks like a good spot.
Really, Toby?
He thinks he's a celebrity.
He is. There have been people who've asked, where's your mascot? Can you not eat the witch hat, please?
And spread the cards all over the table.
Look at him. He's lying across the whole thing. If I rub his belly, he might get off the table, but he'll also take my arm with it.
He's chewing on you.
Would you stop eating that? That's not... No. He chews on the Takanoko farmer, too. Stop. Alright. All right.
Toby's like, I win.
Look, he's even letting me rub his tummy. He wants that hat so bad. He's letting me rub his tummy. He never does that. Can you? Okay. Normally I would let you sit in the corner, but you're being a little too disruptive. So we're gonna try to pick you up without that happening.
We'll fix it.
Go that way. Thank you. So that was great. Just kind of put these back in the stack. What a mess. Ah, I love that cat, but at the same time, he gives me a headache. Don't paw at him. Hey!
Hey!
He's being an ass. Alright, you're getting down. Off you go. Nope.
Wow. That was on the 2, I believe.
Hmm?
I said that was on the 2.
Yeah,
I believe.
we haven't started the rounds yet, so that was...
Dogs love me, cats.
He's just in a mood.
He's like, this is my game.
Yep, that was great. I just got...
You're probably going to have
cat
to take
hair.
a quick step back a little bit. Like,
Hmm?
just to where we were. I know you were
Oh.
explaining.
So, well, we were talking about the support, and then madness can go here too, but I'm going to bring that up again when I talk about the deck drafting and that sort of thing. So these are the starting elements. So once you pick your mage, you're going to start with these cards.
Okay.
And that's going to be your starting deck of 12 cards. So in each turn or round, each player turn, you have multiple phases. You've got the concentration phase, the monster phase. Oh, yeah, well, I'm explaining it too.
Yeah, well, I know. It's just sometimes helpful to look at it while
That's
you're
true.
going through it.
And then there's the action phase and the recuperation phase. There's only one thing that happens in the concentration phase, and I can actually show everyone. So I'm going to move my mage. When you cast a spell, you exhaust it. We're not going to use the other word that most people think of when you turn a card sideways because copyright. But
Is it really copyrighted?
it is.
Oh.
Yes. That is not a word you use, so you do that.
Yeah.
But we call it exhaustion. And so during the concentration phase, any spells that you have used that are exhausted, you turn right side up. You unexhaust them.
Okay.
Are you typing the word? It's pretty funny. Because I monetize my videos when it goes on YouTube, I gotta make sure I'm careful about those things. Actually, I think you have to be careful on Twitch anyway, as well. Like copyrighted music, you have to be careful of. Everything must be fair use. But yeah, so that's what happens during the concentration phase. You take exhausted spell cards from the previous round and you write them. Okay? And then we start the monster phase. Now, what happens during the monster phase is the first thing that happens is we're going to move this. This is the invocation marker. And if you notice, there's numbers. So this thing is going to actually move counterclockwise. And things happen each time. The first marker is you get a new monster. So we're going to open that grimoire. It's going to be a monster. There's going to be some stats. Mm-hmm. Now, we only have until we get to the end to kill that monster. And we kill the monster by removing its curses. Curses don't happen until these turns, though. So the first turn, you just get the monster and determine where those curses are going to be. Really, Toby? Can you not pull down the hook? Wow, you're like a teenager, but you're too old to be a teenager. So you move the marker, and then you apply the effects of the new space, if any. So on marker 1, we're going to reveal a new monster. On marker 2, if there's a curse there, we have to deal with the impact of that curse. We are going to see the curses, so we're going to know what's coming if we and what the effect is going to be for all of us. And one thing that we're going to need to do when we play these, as we play this game, we're going to need to read what our stuff does, because I don't know if you can see it, but like the viewers will not be able to read this because I've got the camera zoomed out so you can see the whole play area. So just be aware of that. And so we move the invocation marker. And stuff may or may not happen depending on where it lands. If there's a curse there, you apply the effects. They only get applied once because the marker's only going to hit it once. But if we get to the end of that cycle and that curse is still there, then we just deal with the fail effect that the monster has. If we've removed all of those curses, then we won't get impacted by them, and we don't have to deal with the fail effect. Because we're playing on medium difficulty, we're actually going to start seeing multi-element curses, and what that means, it takes multiple elements to get rid of them. Curses are always gotten rid of by certain elements. So like if we flip this over, it might say if you spend 4 green element or nature element, you can get rid of that curse. Might be 2, might be 3, you never know until you flip the curse over. So we already talked about if all the curses are destroyed, we get the victory effect for that monster. We have to actually make it to the end of the book, so you don't always have to beat the monster, you just have to survive.
And this is all cooperative? There's
yes,
no,
it's
like,
100%
someone's a
cooperative.
traitor?
Nope, no traitors on this one.
We're
100% the traitor is the book and all the monsters. Now we can make conscious decisions to maybe fail if the fail condition isn't too bad.
Who opened the book or whatever.
No, it's just part of the story.
It was me.
It was,
It's
yeah,
always
it
me.
makes
Sure it
sense
was
because
you.
that's what
It's
Stig would
always
do.
me.
That's what Stig would do. He would open the book. Or he would actually talk Ashley into opening the book.
That's more like it.
And then Ashley would open the book. But yeah, so we only have to survive to the end, but when we get to the last monster, you have to beat the last monster. Or the book will stay open and we fail. So that's the whole point. Survive through the other monsters, seal them if you can, but make it to the end, and then beat the last monster. And it's neat because it's random monsters. There's like a whole bunch, a big stack of them, and you just shuffle it up and draw them, so we don't know. I have no idea what's in there.
And they kind of have an H.P. Lovecraft theme.
They do, except they're cartoony. The
Yeah.
art style is cartoony, but it is kind of an H.P. Lovecraft. I mean, it is the Book of Madness. So, if we land on this, if you notice there could be 2 curses here, we'll deal with this curse first and this one. So it literally still stays in the same order. It's just if we have curses on the 3 space, we will get hit by both of them in the same turn.
And what happens when it cycles back around to where it is now?
If it cycles back around to where it is now and there are any curses out,
Okay,
we
that's-
fail to defeat
that's
that
the fail
monster.
phase, okay.
Yeah, the monsters themselves are bringing curses into play, and we have to overcome those curses to defeat the monster.
Got it.
They don't have health per se. It's just they're coming out causing all kinds of problems. If we solve those problems, essentially, that's how we get rid of them. Make sense? And then, excuse me. And then once we get to the end of the cycle, regardless of whether we fail or win, then we move the witch hat down and we start dealing with more curses, because there's going to be curses just for having the book open, essentially.
And the 2 represents that we're on medium difficulty.
Yes, there's 3. It's interesting because there's 3 base difficulties here, but there's also other gameplay modes that make the game even harder.
Wow.
Like you can start out with 1 madness in your deck. Yeah, it's crazy. So that is going to get worse and worse, and those are more difficult to get rid of. And then once we bring out a new monster, each monster will have 3 curses of different elements associated with it. So those will get placed on the board. So if you notice, we'll already have these, and then we'll be adding more. So you can have up to 5 curses on a monster. It's possible, and it will likely it actually will happen in turns 4, 5, and 6. You'll have all 5 filled. So that's going to be tough, but I think it should be interesting. I felt that maybe level 1 would be too easy since we've done deck builders before. And if we fail, that's okay. That's what cooperative games are all about. They're about hopefully passing, but there's not always a guarantee that you're going to pass. Then after that, we move into the action phase. Now you can take as many actions as you can afford, and your actions are going to be your hand. So once we get our cards, I know we don't have them yet, but once you create your 12-card deck, you're going to shuffle it and draw 6 cards. And so let's say these are my hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hopefully it won't be the same element, but we'll pretend for now. These numbers will allow you to take action. So obviously I would have 6 action points that I can spend.
Because they're all 1s.
Yes. To buy a new spell, it tells you what type of element you need and how many. It's always 2. And so 2 red will get you the power of the Inferno, if you have it. Does that make sense? So that's considered 1 action. Learning a new spell is considered 1 action. You can only learn 1 spell a turn. So even if you have enough actions to learn multiple spells, you won't do that. You're only going to learn one a turn. That's just to make sure that we have equal opportunity to get the spells around the board, so everybody has them. So one spell a turn, you can learn. You can activate a spell, and you can acquire an element card from this row, or you can also destroy a curse, or you can cure one of your madness cards. Those are the types of actions you can do. And if you notice, some of these have higher numbers. So if I had this card, this would be 3 towards my action. If you overspent, so if I use this card, for example, to buy this spell, there's no change. I took that action and I can't have 1 left over for one of my other actions. Does that make sense?
You're saying if you use a 3 to buy that, you lose that.
You lose that action point even if your turn is still going and you're taking other actions. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Because you have to be able to spend for each individual action you take during the action phase. So if I had these 2 and that 3, I could spend these 2 to learn that spell and use that 3 for something else. Does that make sense? And so you can't use a single element for multiple actions, I guess is the best way to explain it. So if I had that 3 again, I wouldn't be able to buy this and then do something else. You only get the 1 action per expenditure, if that makes sense. So now you can, during your turn, you can activate one of your spells. So if you notice, we start out with 5, or 4. Is it 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. Did I do that right? We start out with 4 spells. Did I miss
You
one?
can only buy 1 spell per turn.
You can buy 1 spell per turn, and you can activate 1 spell per turn.
Okay.
Yeah, we have 4. Sorry, we can only have. You can have 5 total spells, and I'll get to that in just a second. But if I had these 4 spells and I want to cast both of them, I can't do it in my 1 turn. I have to pick the one that I want to cast the most, cast it, and then, then my next turn I can cast again. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Or actually, no, I'm sorry. Per action card. So if I have, excuse me, I can cast this spell. I can also cast other spells. I'm sorry. You just do them one at a time. Brain dead. So if it's not exhausted, you can pay its activation cost by discarding whatever elements you have. So if I want to do this one, I spend 1 element and exhaust it. I almost said the wrong word. And then that effect goes off.
And it has to be red.
Yeah, because it's the same element.
Why did, on the action, on your turn, on the cast a spell, what is the 1 time, 2 time, or 3 time?
Oh, I'll get to that.
Okay. Sorry. Getting ahead of myself.
That is the spell's variable. If you notice, your spells have variables, and they're in a circle. You can overpay up to 3 times the cost. So if I do this, I spend 3 elements, because it costs 1 element to cast a spell. If I spend 3, or one of these,
you destroy 3 cards.
I get to destroy 3 cards. And all of the spells have at least something in a variable. This one has 2 variables. And so however much you overpay. So if it costs you 2 fire to cast the spell, it doesn't, but let's say it did. If it costs you 2 fire to cast a spell, if you want to be able to get this variable to a 2, you would need to spend 4 elements. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And we do have, the level 2 spell will probably cost 2 fire to cast, and then the level 3 will probably cost 3 to cast. It only costs 2 to ever learn it, though. So regardless of how powerful the spell is, it's only going to cost you 2 of the element to learn it. Make sense? So you can cast that spell, you can beef it up, you can cast other spells if you want to, as long as you have the elements to be able to do that, and they're not exhausted. Does that make sense? Now, when you learn a new spell, if you have the right elements, you can also cast that spell. So like I could grab this, put it in here, and exhaust it to use it if I have enough elements to do so in my hand. I mean, we only have 6 cards, so it's not like we're going to be doing a lot, but that's something you could do.
You can play multiple of these each turn.
Yep, as long as you have the elements to cover it.
Okay.
Same thing with if you require a new spell and you have the elements to cast it, you're also allowed to cast it. We are only allowed to have 5 active spells. So if you do want to learn a 6th spell, you can. You just have to throw away one of your existing spells, and when you throw it away, it gets removed from game. It doesn't get available for other players.
But you can throw the default one.
You can throw the default ones away. If you find that this spell, like maybe you learn one of these spells, and it's not really helping us very much, you can get rid of that to get a better spell. It's totally up to you. But just be aware that the pool of spells is only 5.
And we can cast as many as we want, but only buy 1 per
Correct.
turn. Okay.
Buy 1 per turn, cast as many as you have enough elements in your hand from your deck to be able to cast. Um, and you can also acquire an element card of value 2 or 3. We're going to have all ones that are available in the game to start with. If you want to buy these, it costs 2 to buy a 2, it costs 3 to buy a 3. And it has to be the same type. So if I want to buy 3 fire, I need to spend 3 fire to get it. Does that make sense?
Aren't they the same value?
I'm so confused. Why
Well,
would you
you
do that?
want because you get a 3 with fewer cards. You want 2s and
Okay.
3s because you'll have those in your hands. It gives you more actions.
Okay.
Remember, you only have 6 cards in your hand.
Okay.
How many are you?
So we're building our deck.
Oh, you're only allowed 6 cards in your hand ever.
Correct. So you want these higher value cards in your deck because then you're going to have, let's say I had 2 of these and a 2 as 3 cards, and that gives me, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11 action points to
You're
play
basically
with.
stacking your hand.
Yeah, you're building your deck.
Yeah.
And you may eventually want to get rid of some of these smaller ones. I'm not sure how you do. There is one.
Some of
way
the
to do it.
characters start with twos though.
Everybody starts with at least 1, 2.
Okay.
You kind of have to. But in order to buy them, you just spend the value in that same element. So if I want to buy this, it's going to cost me 2 fire. If I want to buy this, it's going to cost me 3 fire. That'll cost me 2 water. That'll cost me 3 water. You just throw it in your discard pile, and then this goes to your discard pile as well. It's just like any other deck builder. When you buy a new card, it goes to your discard pile. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And these are very spinny. For some reason, all the cards are bendy. You can also destroy 1 curse. Now, it doesn't mean 1 per turn. It's just it's like 1 action. So per action, whatever points you spend goes towards getting rid of that 1 curse, and then nothing carries over. So if you overspend in removing a curse and then you want to remove another curse, you're going to need to use different cards. You can't carry them to the next one, if that makes sense. And then to destroy that curse, you pay the 4 elements that are displayed on the curse. These are usually the element that's on this side. So if we flip this curse over, it's going to have an effect, and then it's going to cost 4 earth to get rid of it. This one's going to be 4 wind. This is going to be 1 of each. You spend those cards, just throw them into your discard pile. That's how you spend them, and then that curse is removed. Does that kind of make sense as far as destroying the curse?
Mm-hmm.
It's removed from game, so it never comes back. And you can also cure 1 of your madness cards. So if you have a madness card, remember I mentioned that sometimes you can get madness on your support pool. If you have a madness card that's showing, you can see it, then you can destroy it. And the way to do that is you spend any 2 elements of the same type. It doesn't matter, it doesn't show on the madness card, obviously. It's just any 2. So if you have 2 blue, spend 2 blue. If you have 2 red, spend 2 red. You can't spend a blue and a red. Does that make sense? You just have to just ditch 2 of the same, and that gets rid of the madness. Excuse me. And then once all of that is done, if there's a madness in somebody's support pool, anybody can destroy it. So if you don't have enough cards, but you really need to get rid of that madness, and Eliza does have 2 matching cards, she can get rid of it for you. Just during her turn. Make sense? We can play off each other's support pools. That's why it's called support pool. It helps you because it has some cards out here that you can have for extra cards, but it also, helps other players because they have access to elements that maybe they don't have very many of, if that makes sense. And then there's the recuperation phase. That's what you do at the end of your turn. Once you've done all your actions, you need to make sure you have exactly 6 cards in your hand. So if for some reason you have more, which is unlikely, but if that happens, you got to discard. If you don't have enough, then you need to draw up to 6. Anytime you need to draw, excuse me, if you ever draw and you have 6 madness cards in your hand, you're eliminated from the game. You actually go completely insane. And I don't think it'll happen in this game, but it is possible, maybe on the harder difficulties.
So madness can end up in your deck.
Madness will end up in your deck.
Okay.
We're all going to end up with at least some madness in our decks. It's just a given. Excuse me. If you need to draw and your deck is empty, now you know how most deck builders, you try to draw, your deck is empty, you just shuffle your cards and draw, right? In this one, when you run out of cards and you need to draw and your deck is empty, you gain a madness into your discard, then you shuffle and draw. So that we will be accruing every so often we're going to get madness no matter what. And that's just the effect of the grimoire being open. So yeah, those are going to come. Excuse me. And if you happen to have, again, if you happen to have 6 madness in your hand at any time, then you go completely insane.
Can you discard madness?
Well, discarded madness just goes right back into your deck. It's
true.
But
I'm
yes,
saying if you have 6 in your hand,
if you ever have 6 in your hand at all, you immediately get out of the game. But if you have, say, 2 madness and you're at the end of your turn, you can discard those 2 so you can draw back up to 6. Remember, doing that might cause you to deck out, which means you'll get more madness. So we will be dealing with a lot of madness. Once you've done that, once you've made sure that you have 6 cards in your hand, the token goes to the next active player, and then the turn starts again with the whole thing. We'll move the book and see if we get a curse, and that's going to keep on happening. But does that kind of make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And then we want to get to the end. We want to make it to the last page. If we do make it to the last page and defeat that monster, we win. So we don't always have to defeat the monsters that we come across, but we're going to want to defeat some. So now we're going to start with Eliza. We're going to let her look first, or we can all talk about it. If you notice, some of these characters are pretty heavy with certain elements. Like this one's very much a fire elementalist. These are earth elementalists. We don't want to necessarily all pick the same colors, if that makes sense. Because if we're all running around as earth elementalists, and then we need fire elements, we're not going to have it.
Oh, so we don't pick at random?
No, we get to choose.
Oh, okay.
We absolutely get to choose. I mean, we could go random, but that would probably be... If we ever get to the point where we're so good at this game that we just win more often than not, then we could do it.
Here's a quick question, because actually you hinted me, I think it would be a great character, but how do you cure a madness card?
Just like I mentioned, you spend 2 elements...
I mean, does it go right back? Because this says... During your turn, you can draw 1 card. If it is a madness card, cure it. Otherwise, discard it.
The way you cure it is So normally you can only cure madness when it's sitting out in your support.
But this character, if I draw 1 out of the deck,
spend 2 elements of the same color, and it gets out of there. So you would discard your 2 elements of the same color, and there it goes.
Or discard it.
Okay. Or discard it. Yeah. So what would happen is your next turn would be a little bit shorter because you would have fewer cards, but who cares? You get rid of the madness. Mm-hmm. So if you're swimming in madness, that might be something to do.
Now, if you get 6 cards up in the support pool, would that kill you as well?
No, because the most you can have is 3. Support pools only have 3. If you notice, there's only 3 shadowy areas on the card.
Oh, I see those.
There's one
now.
character
that has 4. Shadowy areas
yeah,
before.
It was hard because I had the card over here.
So, if those are all full of madness, though, I mean, is that the heal phase? You'd be removing this, or it fills up your support pool?
Yeah, you wouldn't necessarily see. You're going to be willingly putting stuff into your support pool. So if you have madness in your hand, the only way to cure it is to put it in your support pool. And the only way to put something in support, if you notice, is with ice. You place 1 card from your hand into support.
Okay.
So that spell...
But that's where you'd want to heal, is you'd want to remove madness from the support.
Yeah, you'll put it out in support, which means you can heal it, or your friends can heal it. Everybody can take turns healing it. So if you end up with a lot of madness, that's one way to cycle it out. You can also put spell elements out there, too, for other people to use, and yourself, because it counts towards your hand. So there's a number of different ways to do that. So if I can see your card real quick, I'll get you your starting deck. So you're going to get 1... of these, 3 of these, 2 greens, and you're going to get 3 of the winds and 3 water. So they're little itty bitty cards, but you can shuffle those up and draw 6, and that will be your hand. And then we'll put your character up here so that it'll be on camera. People can see like what your support cards are and stuff. And I'll put mine up too. I'll lower this a little bit. So, and that way we can see what spells we're using.
Do I show what's in my hand?
No, you don't have to show what's in your hand. You can, but you don't have to. Because as you spend it, you can be like, oh, I'm going to spend 2 fire. And so the people watching will know what you're spending.
Okay.
And these actually show up pretty good. Like you can see, they can't see the number, but it shows how many by the symbols. So the really cool thing about this game is it's great for let's play sessions because you don't have to actually read anything. I'm making a mess. Let's try. Maybe I should sleeve these cards. Just so they lay
If
flatter.
this says you can exchange 2 cards in your hand with 2 cards in support, would that be anybody's support?
No, it would be your support.
Only your own.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that makes it available to other players, though, too. So it's another
Yeah,
way
that's a good one.
to help other players, and also to get stuff out in support. Like if you want to get rid of your ice spell, that's great because you'll have the ability still without having to use the spell.
I think there's some unique abilities that could all be helpful to us. I'm slow. I'm sorry.
It's all right. It's perfectly okay. You know what, I'm gonna move these since we don't have a player over here. I'm gonna move these down here so that we
I
can.
think I'm gonna try this goon. You can have up to 6 spells.
All right. So let me see him for
Actually-
just a sec.
I'm gonna stick with the. Yeah. Why not? First time playing through.
It's okay.
See what happens.
Can I see your card for just a second? I just need to get your starting deck for you. Okay.
I can do that if you want to pick your character.
That's alright. I don't mind. One of those. 1, 2, 3, 4 of these. 1, 2, 3. Whoops. They're very warped.
I noticed that. They all have a little bit of a curve to them.
Everything does. I think I'm going to do some sleeving.
Maybe, or maybe it was stored in like a dry place.
Yeah, I mean, it was,
Could
but
be the stock too. the
yeah,
cardstock.
they're decent cardstock though. I just, I don't know. It's weird, but it's not uncommon for that to happen. Like Dead of Winter, I had to laminate the stuff because, nice. Yep. If you can put it right next to your spells. Actually, if you slide them up a little bit, yeah, and then everybody can see them. All right. So, wow, there are some good ones. Draw 1 card each time you destroy a curse.
I really was torn between that and the madness one I asked you about. the wind guy there that you can cure madness if it comes out of your deck, but you said that it's probably doubtful that we get that
This
much.
flaming. Okay, so we've got
The fire one is really good.
fire, earth. I might take water though, just so we get the elements. But this one's nice too because you can reset.
You got a
You
good
can have
one.
4 cards in support.
You got a good one. You're gonna be
Really?
able to get rid of madness and draw cards. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah. During your turn, you can treat 1 value 1 air card as any element of your choice. Wow.
I think the fire one you got in front of you is really good, and then there's a water one.
There's 2 water ones that are really good. I'm actually gonna pick this water one because she has more support.
Yeah, that's.
Um,
No, you keep the support one.
She can have. Well, then again, though, do we want that or do we want the other one? Because the other one says during your turn you can treat 1 value air card as any element of your choice.
There's one in there where you can refresh. I almost said it. You can refresh somebody's
Yep,
spells.
that's
That's
another
actually a
fire
really
elemental.
good one.
We've already got a lot of fire out there. We want to make sure
Oh,
we have
that's true.
enough elements.
Yep.
So I'm gonna pick the emo looking guy. And so I get 3 green, 3 fire. He seems pretty balanced because he gets a little bit of everything. 3 wind,
You already drew your cards.
2 water.
So we just draw our 6 right away to start.
Yep, shuffle up and draw your 6. Wow, these are very warpy. My derpy card. Alright. And then what we'll want to do is just real quick mention what each of our powers are. So for me, I can treat any value 1 air card as any element of my choice. What does yours do?
I can discard 1 madness card from my hand and draw a card.
Nice.
And I can have up to 6 spells.
Cool. Nice. That's actually a good deal.
Thought it'd be worth trying.
They're all good abilities. Okay. Oh, cool. My hand shows and everything. Alright. Okay. So the first thing that we do, we're on round 1, and so we move this here and we reveal the monster. This monster, it's like fat killer bees. I wonder if that'll show up on camera. Oh, it does. Look at that. Killer bees. So the curses that we're going to deal with are 1 wind, a water one, which is upside down, and fire. Okay, so if we get hit by this one, each player discards 1 fire card. If you can't, there's no punishment. You just, if you have it, you discard it. Each player, so that's what we're going to worry about first. We'll talk about the other ones after. Actually, no, let's talk about them now because we might want to decide which ones we want to have happen to us and which ones we don't want to have happen to us. Each player destroys the top card of their deck, which means it gets removed from the game. That's a bad one. Each player discards 1 air card. So 2 discards, which aren't too bad. The first one in the 3 area sucks. So now this monster has an effect when he comes into play. And this effect is each player places the top 2 cards of their deck in the discard pile. So we have to auto discard 2 cards.
We all do?
Yep. That's what it does. It stings us or something.
Stupid bee.
Now, on the second page of the grimoire, it tells us what the effects are. So if we beat this monster, we cure all madness that we have in the support pool, so in our support cards. If we fail, shuffle all destroyed element and madness cards, starting with the active player. Deal them in clockwise order. I'm sorry. Wait a minute. One of them is a bad thing and one of them is a good thing. Yeah, all curses were destroyed. Yeah, so if we win, we cure all the madness. If we lose, shuffle all destroyed element and madness cards, starting with the active player. Deal them in clockwise order to the discard piles of each player. So we'll basically, if we get rid of madness, it's a way to bring it back if we fail beating this guy. Alright, so that's page 1, monster 1. And you get to go first.
Okay.
So first thing we do is the concentration phase, which doesn't happen.
Alright.
Oh yeah, that's right. Did you guys want
A reference card?
yeah, a reference card?
That would be helpful.
Because there's enough where we could do that. Here you go. Probably do it too.
Do I have to do these in order?
Yes, so concentrate. No, the actions you don't. Once you get to the action phase, we already moved the book. Concentration phase already happened, essentially. So we're in the monster phase right now. So,
monster phase.
which we've already done actually, because we put the curses out, and we don't have to deal with.
Phase, right?
Yeah, we're in the action phase right now.
Okay.
Now, can you explain again how we get rid of those or choose just one more time really
This
quick?
is the cost. You spend 4 elements, and it tells you what
Can
type.
we spend it as a group?
No. Nope.
Okay, but if it's in support, you can use it.
That's why the support's
Okay.
so important. Yeah.
Okay.
Because if you only have 2 of something, but somebody else has the other 2, it's especially a good idea to throw into support stuff that the other players don't have as many of.
Where is that in the phases?
It's ice. It's casting a spell.
Oh, got it.
I'm gonna cast the spell.
Okay.
I'm gonna do this one times 2.
Okay.
And just, where do these go?
Those go into your discard pile.
Okay. And then I draw 2 from here.
Nope. You don't draw until the end.
Okay.
And then you'll want to say, oh, sorry, yes, you did growth. And you'll want to read the spell when you do it, just let players know what you're doing.
Okay, draw 1 card.
But you spent 2, so you're going to get to draw 2 cards.
And I don't draw now.
Yes, you do. Yeah, I thought you were talking about drawing for the 6 cards.
Okay.
That's how you could end up with more than 6.
Yep. I think there's other spells that do it too.
I want to exchange my cards. Or, what is it, gain an element card?
Oh, okay. Those just go to your discard pile. You don't throw them away.
Okay.
And you're spending.
Spending 3 fire to get a 3 fire card.
There you go.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, I thought we were trading them in, so we get
No,
to keep them.
you keep them. I mean, there are times where you might destroy some of your elements, but hopefully it's the low ones.
I think that's it.
Okay. So count your cards. If you have more than 6, you need to discard down to 6.
I only have 5.
Okay, then draw 1. Because you have to have 6. Alright, and now the cookie moves to Ryan.
At what point does that
This happens
Okay,
now.
I see what
So
you're
each
saying.
player discards one fire card.
Ooh.
Did you have any elements to be able to remove any of these? You probably don't.
Oh, yeah, I do. I didn't know we were doing that right now.
Yeah, you do. It's one of the actions during the action phase.
We're doing all 3 of those?
And whatever ones you can get rid of.
See, 2 is going to trigger next. So if
Yeah.
you have 4 wind or 4 air,
That's fire.
that's air.
That's air. This is fire. 4
It's-
fire, 4 air, 4 water.
You see the number?
This is the one that really sucks.
goes
Oh,
1,
but then
2,
that says
3,
each
4,
player
5.
discards 1 fire card.
No, this is what it costs to get rid of it, though. 4 wind to get rid of it. It always
Wow.
costs 4 of an element, or 1 of.
But I can put what I have to give towards it. I have
No,
to have
not unless you
4.
cast a spell. What you can do, for example, if you have some of these, you can use your ice spell if you have any water, and that will let you put some cards in your support, which will allow Ryan and I to use those cards. So
Okay.
if you want to contribute towards them that way, you have to use your ice spell.
All right.
But the air will be unavoidable, right? Because
Yes, the air will be unavoidable.
So she should be.
So
If we're gonna do anything, it would be the
we
water.
have to get rid of all of them. We have to get rid of all of them before we hit to the track 5. So it's whatever one she can contribute to.
Okay, I thought we could only get rid of them if we were on that.
Nope.
Okay.
No, this is
I got
when
it.
they go off. So we're definitely going to get hit by this one.
I got
But we
it.
need to get
Okay.
rid of all 3 to beat the bees.
Okay.
Okay. So I'll
Oh,
spend.
and the other thing to know is these are the elements that are coming in the next round. So we know the next round's going to be water, wind, and fire.
Okay.
Which is what it is now.
Yeah, it's true.
I'll spend 1 1 ice
Okay.
to put an ice in my support,
Okay.
and that's all I can do.
Okay.
That is water.
You said ice. Oh, ice is a spell. Sorry. Try to be a know-it-all and see what I get you.
Do I
Okay,
have to
so now-
redraw since I
You
can't play?
do. Yep.
Okay, and then probably shuffle, right?
Before you shuffle, you gain a madness.
You're already a little mad. It's okay.
Doesn't go. It goes to your discard pile.
Oh.
And then you shuffle and draw the rest of your cards. Meanwhile, this happens. Nope, that stays because we haven't beat him yet.
No, I know. I was
Oh.
driving it.
Oh, I gotcha.
Of my OCD.
So we have to discard a fire card. Poop. I needed that fire card, but that's okay.
As did I. So now it's my turn.
Yep. Technically, it was your turn when we moved the book, because the concentration phase happens, then you move the book.
Okay. I'm gonna learn a spell.
Okay.
That's 2 forests.
Mhm.
Nothing at the end of time.
And then the next one flips over immediately. So you know what's coming. Some sort of cornucopia.
So what I took says choose 1 card from your discard pile, then place it on top of your deck.
Oh, nice.
And the next one up.
Draw.
Okay.
Oh, one other player
Abundance.
draws 2 cards. That's nice.
Right, and then if I gain an element now, can I use it to cast a spell after?
No, because it goes to your discard pile. When you gain it, it goes to your discard
Okay,
pile.
the one you're gaining goes to your discard.
Yep.
Okay.
It's very much a traditional deck builder, just with very bendy cards.
Alright, then I
Ooh, fancy
guess
sleeves.
I'm gonna use ice.
Okay.
And I'm gonna place a wind card in my support, or an air card in my support pool.
Okay.
And then I will also, I'll spend another water, and I'll put in a fire card.
Why did you do air? I thought you said it was too late to do.
Well, no, we hit it, but she said we only have until it comes back to here to destroy all 3 of those. So we still have to destroy them.
Okay.
But when the marker moves to them, she said that's when it hurts us.
Yep.
So that's it. I spent
Oh,
everything.
I wish we had 4 water because we're gonna lose a card out of our deck permanently.
We are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Each player, as soon as my turn starts, we're gonna all lose a card.
I don't really have 4 water. She's got a water in support. I didn't have 4.
Yeah, you only
water.
had 2.
I only had 2.
That sucks. Oh well.
So,
That's what makes the game tough.
but now I have to draw 6 more.
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Madness.